Why is narcissist shaken from your indifference? The moment you stop reacting to a narcissist, something extraordinary happens. Suddenly their world, which has always been about control, admiration, and dominance, starts to crack. The foundation they've built their entire identity on begins to crumble. But what is it about your indifference that shakes them so profoundly? Why does this one shift in your behavior disrupt everything they've worked so hard to maintain? To understand this, we need to dive deep into the psychology of narcissism and how it functions in relationships. Have you ever noticed how a narcissist thrives on your reactions? Whether it's admiration, anger, confusion, or even fear, as long as you're giving them an emotional response, they feel in control. But what happens when you stop? The shift is subtle at first, but its effects are undeniable. The narcissist begins to feel a deep sense of unease. They might act as if nothing has changed, but internally they are shaken to the core. In this video, we'll explore why this is so, and why your indifference is one of the most powerful tools you can use to disrupt the narcissist's emotional manipulation. Before we dive into this exploration, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who might benefit from this knowledge. Understanding the dynamics of narcissistic behavior is crucial in navigating relationships, and together, we can shed light on how to regain control over your emotional well-being. So, let's get started. Narcissism is a complex psychological condition where a person has an exaggerated sense of their own importance, accompanied by an overwhelming need for excessive admiration and attention, and a fundamental inability to empathize with others. It's a condition that goes beyond mere personality traits or preferences. It is, in many ways, a survival mechanism. For the narcissist, the entire world must revolve around their ego, their desperate need to feel superior to others, and their yearning to be adored and worshipped. This deep-seated desire for validation shapes everything they do, from their actions and relationships to their very self-concept. When someone close to them, someone they rely on for validation, starts behaving in the way they expect, it creates a profound and destabilizing disruption in their carefully curated reality. The first essential point to grasp about narcissists is that their sense of self-worth is entirely dependent on the validation they receive from the people around them. They are, in many ways, empty inside without this external affirmation. It is not enough for a narcissist to feel good about themselves independently. They need others to reinforce their sense of importance. This validation can come in many forms: compliments, admiration, public recognition, or even negative attention like anger or jealousy. In some cases, the narcissist may even thrive on being the source of conflict, so long as it keeps the focus on them. For a narcissist, any attention, whether positive or negative, is preferable to being ignored. As long as they are the center of attention, they feel a sense of control, and in turn, this makes them feel powerful, significant, and worthy of admiration from those around them. But the problem arises when you, as someone close to them, stop reacting in the expected way. When you no longer feed their ego, when you no longer provide them with the validation they crave, it challenges their entire sense of self. Your indifference strips them of their most crucial source of self-worth. Instead of basking in the glow of your approval, they are met with a void, nothing to latch onto, nothing to sustain their fragile ego. This emptiness is deeply unsettling for the narcissist. It challenges the very foundation of their identity and makes them confront a terrifying truth. Without your validation, they are nothing. They are no longer the all-important figure they've convinced themselves and others that they are. This is when the real shift begins, and the narcissist's world begins to unravel. In response to your indifference, the narcissist may attempt to escalate their behavior, thinking that they can provoke a reaction from you. They may use guilt, manipulation, charm, or even passive-aggressive tactics to try and reel you back into their emotional grip. Narcissists are adept at using psychological tricks to create drama and pull people back into their orbit. They know how to make you feel obligated or responsible for their emotional well-being, and they will stop at nothing to regain the attention and validation they believe they deserve. At this stage, they may push harder, using flattery or threats in an attempt to reassert control over the situation. But when your indifference remains steadfast, these tactics start to lose their effectiveness. The more they try to provoke a response from you and fail, the more they begin to doubt their own power and control. This failure chips away at the narcissist's carefully constructed persona, exposing cracks in their emotional armor. They start to question their ability to manipulate and dominate you, and with that uncertainty comes fear. The fear of losing control, the fear of being exposed as fragile and vulnerable, begins to take hold. For someone who has built their entire existence around manipulation, this is a terrifying realization. One of the core reasons why narcissists are so shaken by your indifference is that they are inherently insecure. Despite their outward appearance of confidence, bravado, and self-assuredness, deep down, narcissists often harbor profound fears of rejection, abandonment, and failure. These fears drive their constant need for validation and admiration from others. Without this external validation, their self-esteem collapses, and they are forced to confront the reality of their deep-seated insecurities. Your emotional withdrawal serves as a stark reminder that they are not as powerful as they have convinced themselves to be. It is a crushing blow to their sense of self. When you withhold your emotional responses, you signal to them that they are not the all-powerful, invincible beings they imagine themselves to be. This creates a profound existential crisis, forcing the narcissist to confront the reality of their own inadequacy. Furthermore, another reason why indifference is so destabilizing for the narcissist is that it exposes the reality that they are not as special or unique as they believe themselves to be. In the narcissist's world, they are always the protagonist, the central character in their personal drama. They see themselves as the star of their own show, the one who should always command attention and admiration. When you stop reacting to them, you take away their status as the focal point of their narrative. In essence, you strip them of their position as the main character in their story, and without your attention, they are forced to realize something deeply unsettling. Their identity is built on hollow foundations. They are not the all-powerful, invincible figure they have spent years crafting themselves to be. Without the constant validation of others, their sense of importance crumbles. This realization that their identity is fragile and built on a false sense of superiority can be incredibly destabilizing. The narcissist is forced to confront the vulnerability they have spent their entire life trying to hide, and this vulnerability is something they are utterly unequipped to handle. The moment they realize that they are not the godlike figures they believe themselves to be, they are thrust into an emotional crisis that they cannot easily recover from. The narcissist may feel profoundly threatened by your indifference because it directly challenges their need for control. For a narcissist, control is not just a desire, but an essential component of their identity. They are often drawn to individuals who are emotionally invested in them, as this emotional engagement provides the leverage they need to maintain power over the relationship. When you stop reacting to their provocations or manipulations, you disrupt the dynamic they rely on so heavily. Your indifference becomes a symbol of freedom, autonomy, and emotional independence, qualities that narcissists find deeply unsettling. These traits contradict the very foundation of their interactions, which revolve around domination and control. By refusing to engage on their terms, You establish a boundary that is impenetrable to their tactics. This boundary is a powerful statement that they cannot manipulate you, no matter how much they might try. For someone who thrives on control, this realization is a significant blow to their ego and their carefully crafted sense of superiority. As you remain indifferent, the narcissist's need to reassert their dominance grows more intense. They may begin by employing subtle tactics, such as guilt-tripping, love-bombing, or exaggerated expressions of concern, hoping to draw you back into their emotional sphere. These efforts are designed to test the strength of your resolve, to see if you can be swayed or if your detachment is merely temporary. When these attempts fail to elicit the reaction they seek, their methods often escalate. The narcissist may shift from subtle manipulation to more overt displays of frustration or even aggression. They might try to provoke you by bringing up past conflicts, making unfounded accusations, or questioning your loyalty and commitment. Their goal is simple: to regain control by destabilizing your emotional balance. However, as you continue to hold your ground and remain unresponsive, the narcissist's confidence in their ability to control the situation begins to waver. The more their efforts fail, the more desperate the narcissist becomes. They may try every trick in their arsenal to regain their perceived power over you, pushing boundaries they might not have tested before. Their attempts could include heightened emotional outbursts, alternating between flattery and insults, or even attempts to isolate you from others who might support your stance of indifference. These behaviors stem from an internal panic, a deep fear of losing their grip on the dynamic they spent so much effort cultivating. When you refuse to engage, the narcissist is forced to face the reality that their usual tactics are no longer effective. This realization is both infuriating and terrifying for them, as it signifies a loss of control, not just over you, but over the carefully constructed image they have of themselves as powerful and influential. At this stage, the narcissist's behavior may become increasingly erratic and unpredictable. Their frustration can manifest in various ways, ranging from passive-aggressive comments to outright verbal attacks. They may attempt to make you feel guilty by portraying themselves as the victim, framing your indifference as cruelty or betrayal. Alternatively, they might lash out in anger, resorting to insults or accusations designed to undermine your sense of self-worth. These tactics are a reflection of their own inner turmoil, a desperate attempt to transfer their feelings of insecurity and vulnerability onto you. However, the more they try and fail to provoke you, the more unstable their behavior becomes. It's in these moments of heightened emotional chaos that their underlying fears and insecurities are most evident. Beneath the surface, the narcissist is grappling with the realization that they are not as powerful or in control as they believe themselves to be. Your indifference forces the narcissist to confront aspects of themselves they would rather avoid. It disrupts the delicate balance of their internal world, exposing the cracks in their facade of confidence and self-assuredness. For a narcissist, this is a deeply unsettling experience. They are unaccustomed to facing rejection or resistance, especially from someone they once perceived as being under their influence. When you stop reacting to their attempts to control you, you challenge their sense of invincibility. This is a frightening revelation for them, as it undermines the foundation of their identity. Without your validation, they are left to confront their own vulnerabilities and fears, emotions they have spent their lives avoiding or suppressing. What makes indifference so powerful is that it not only reclaims your emotional autonomy, but also exposes the narcissist's weaknesses. It highlights the fragility of their sense of self-worth and their dependence on external validation for a sense of identity. By refusing to engage, you force the narcissist to see that their power is not inherent, but borrowed from the reactions of others. This realization is profoundly destabilizing for them, as it strips away the illusion of control they cling to so desperately. In their world, they are always the protagonist, the central figure in every interaction. Your indifference shatters this narrative, relegating them to the background and forcing them to confront the reality of their own limitations. In conclusion, your indifference to a narcissist is a powerful weapon that disrupts their sense of control and forces them to confront their insecurities. By refusing to react to their manipulations and emotional games, you take away the one thing that gives them power, your attention. This creates a shift in the dynamic, one that destabilizes the narcissist and forces them to confront the reality of their own vulnerabilities. In the end, your indifference is not just a tool of self-protection. It is a way to reclaim your emotional freedom and take back control of the relationship. Thank you for joining me in exploring this crucial topic. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with anyone who might benefit from understanding the dynamics of narcissism. Your support helps us continue to produce content that empowers individuals to navigate toxic relationships with confidence and awareness. 5 signs you're dealing with an evil narcissist. Have you ever found yourself caught in the web of someone who seems to have an uncanny ability to manipulate, control, and emotionally drain you? Perhaps they appear charming and full of life in public, but behind closed doors, their true nature reveals itself in cruel, unrelenting ways. If you've encountered someone like this, you might be dealing with an evil narcissist, someone who is capable of wreaking havoc on your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. But how do you know for sure if you're facing someone who is truly evil, as opposed to just a difficult or self-centered individual? In this video, we're going to delve into 5 clear signs that indicate you're dealing with an evil narcissist. Someone whose behavior goes beyond the realm of ordinary narcissism and enters a realm of toxicity and harm. These signs are crucial for recognizing the patterns of behavior that narcissists often hide behind charming facades. The more you understand about narcissism and its darker variants, the better equipped you'll be to protect yourself, set boundaries, and navigate these relationships with confidence. If you've ever wondered if you're trapped in a relationship with someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart, or if you found yourself emotionally exhausted and questioning your reality, this video will offer valuable insight into why that is. But before we dive into these signs, I invite you to take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this content with anyone you think may benefit from it. Narcissistic abuse is an issue many suffer from in silence, and spreading awareness can help us all recognize the toxic relationships that are poisoning our lives. Let's get started. Understanding the difference between a narcissist and an evil narcissist is critical because it can have a profound impact on how you navigate relationships and protect your mental and emotional health. Narcissism, in general, is characterized by self-centeredness, a lack of empathy, and a need for constant admiration and validation. However, the term evil narcissist is reserved for individuals whose behavior extends far beyond mere self-absorption. An evil narcissist doesn't just manipulate for personal gain, they thrive on causing harm, suffering, and confusion in others. Their cruelty isn't accidental. It's often deliberate and destructive. Number 1. Relentless manipulation and gaslighting. One of the most defining characteristics of a truly malevolent narcissist is their persistent use of manipulation and gaslighting, tactics that go far beyond the usual narcissistic behaviors. While it's true that most narcissists manipulate others to serve their own needs, a truly evil narcissist takes this to a whole new level by making gaslighting their primary and most effective tool for control. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where the narcissist distorts reality in such a way that you begin to doubt your own perceptions, memories, and even your sanity. They deliberately twist facts, deny past actions, and dismiss your feelings to confuse you, often leaving you unsure of what is real and what is not. At first, this distortion might seem small or even insignificant. However, as time goes on, the narcissist escalates their tactics, undermining your confidence and your sense of self. The constant confusion that gaslighting creates erodes your ability to trust your own mind, making you dependent on the narcissist's version of events, which is often warped and self-serving. Their goal is to slowly strip you of your personal power, leaving you feeling like you cannot trust yourself. In doing so, they weaken your ability to make decisions or even form clear opinions, making you more vulnerable to their control. An evil narcissist will deny things they've said or done, even when confronted with undeniable proof of their actions. They might turn around and accuse you of being forgetful, overreacting, or even imagining things. This persistent denial causes you to constantly question your own memory and perception, and over time, you might start to feel like you're losing touch with reality. The emotional strain of this constant manipulation is immense, and in severe cases, it can lead to serious mental health consequences, including anxiety, depression, and a complete loss of personal identity. The narcissist's cruel manipulation ultimately leaves you emotionally drained and psychologically shattered, as you struggle to make sense of the world around you. Number 2, a complete absence of empathy. A key characteristic that separates an evil narcissist from others is their total and utter lack of empathy. While other narcissists might possess a superficial or shallow understanding of other people's feelings, an evil narcissist is incapable of truly connecting with or understanding anyone else's emotional state. They are not simply indifferent to your suffering, they actively disregard it. In fact, they may even take pleasure in watching you experience pain and discomfort, especially if it reinforces their sense of control over you. When you find yourself emotionally distressed, struggling with personal issues, or dealing with a difficult situation, the last thing you can expect from an